difficulty. And let me see here. I did have a link set up for the live stream, but for some reason it wasn't working properly. So I am going to share the link with everyone here in the other one. One moment. And I'm going to have to share it in the other groups as well. 1 second here. And just one more spot I have to share it with. 1 second here. All right. And my bird is going crazy, so just give me 1 second. All right, everybody. Sorry about the confusion there. Let's see. Okay. I think we're ready to go now. Yeah, I have one bird. Beyond Zebra there said, you've birdies? Yep. I have one bird. He is a painted conure. If you go back in some of my older videos a while back, sometimes you'll see him in the videos, like perching on my shoulder and stuff. But all right. Again, sorry about that. Okay, let's get back on track here. Okay, so the reason that I had to switch this over was because my webcam wasn't connecting properly. It wasn't registering on the PC for some reason. I didn't change anything, but for some reason it just wasn't working. So I just had to go directly live using my cell phone, and that created a new link. I couldn't use the old link because of the way that I had set it up. All right. So tonight I wanted to talk to you about a Gnostic related idea that the world around you is an illusion. It's a simulation, or the term that I like to use, it's a dream. Every experience you have is a dream, if you want to take it that way. And by dream, I mean an internally generated simulation based off of data that you are processing. So whether that be data, information, raw information coming from your sensory organs, your physical sense organs, such as your eyes, for example, or your skin, your taste buds, things like that, hearing, that information gets into your brain through a raw electrochemical signal into your brain. Your brain then processes it through multiple different types of filters, and this is an unconscious process. It processes it through different filters for meaningful patterns, trying to detect meaningful patterns in that data. And when it detects patterns that it finds meaningful, it will render it out into a symbolic experience and present it to the conscious mind. And then that is what we experience, an internally generated symbolic representation of meaningful patterns detected in a data stream. So when we are having the waking experience or the so-called waking experience, it is mostly the physical sense organs that are providing that data, which again is being processed and rendered out symbolically. If we are asleep and dreaming, then we are processing more subtle forms of data, usually memory. That's why we tend to dream about the things we that are related to the things that we did during the day. And sometimes that internal experience generator is not turned on. And that would be deep dreamless sleep, for example. Now, what we refer to as an astral experience, an astral travel experience, that is essentially a type of dream, um, similar to what you would have when you fall asleep and dream. So all experience is a dream. And then you have the non-experience of when that experience generator isn't functioning or isn't turned on, such as deep dreamless sleep. Sebastian Black, welcome. Giving me the horns. Great. I'm glad that everybody managed to find their way over here. So, one of the things that I like to do at the beginning of these live streams, and usually before I even get into the topic, but because everybody had to wait a little bit from when we switched over to the different format or the different link, I should say, I wanted to get into some of the meat of that. But usually, what I like to do is I like to do divination at the beginning of each of these live streams. So I'm going to do that now. And what I like to do, especially, is a bibliomancy, where I will open up a book, such as the Tao Te Ching, is one that I'd been doing a lot. This time, I'm going to use the I Ching. And rather than doing the full process of throwing the coins and deriving a hexagram, I'm just going to do a bibliomancy where I'm going to randomly open to one of the hexagrams and then I'll read the oracle associated with that hexagram. All right, so what do we have here? We ended up with hexagram 46. And for this, I'm using the book I Ching the Oracle by Benabel Wen. She's a really interesting YouTuber that I like to watch videos on. Her channel, I recommend you check it out. I also highly recommend this book. This book is actually a beast. It's over 900 pages, and it isn't just about the I Ching. It's also got a lot of information about esoteric Taoism as well. And it goes quite in depth, but, mostly centered around the I Ching. But let's see here. So the 46th hexagram is hoist. So let's see, what do we have here for the oracle portion of it? Let me put my glasses on. All right. Step up and push up. It is time to raise up the ranks. Reach above and beyond. Expand. Small victories accumulate to become greatness. One victory hoists up another until you attain supreme success. The winds of change are blowing in your favor, and the resources of the earth present themselves to you. How a tree grows, resilient and adaptive, yet solid and stable, inspires the path you will take to glory. Honor your roots, for your roots determine your staying power. Wow. You know, the I Ching never ceases to inspire me. I find it quite powerful, and I really, really enjoy it. It's something that I've been getting a lot more into lately. I find that extremely relevant to my own personal situation. Did anybody else find resonance with that? Oh, I see, Sebastian, you said that you liked that one. Yeah, it's a powerful message, certainly, and something that I definitely resonate with and find relevant right now. In particular, with the work that I'm doing in both the mundane and in the esoteric realm. I'm currently working on my house, doing some painting and some minor repairs. And every day I've been doing a little bit more. And as I see the house getting, improving over time, and it's very satisfying. And also, I've been building and developing the Novus Ordo Luciferi, an esoteric order that I founded just about a year and a half ago, just over a year and a half ago. And I've been putting in effort on a daily basis as much as possible to help uh, provide knowledge to the members, support the members in their work, share knowledge of the esoteric system that I've developed called Luciferian Alchemy and that sort of thing. And actually, after this live, after this live stream, in about half an hour or so, I was going to have a private members meeting for anybody who is a member of the Novus Ordo Luciferi. In about half an hour from now at 9:40 is what I had initially planned. We're going to have a private members meeting, which it's a casual hangout tonight. It won't be recorded, and we get the chance to talk about whatever we want. You'll get a chance to ask questions. We can discuss anything that happens to come up, anything that we feel we want to talk about. And I do have some updates on what I've been doing in the background to help develop the order and support the members and such. So, if you are interested in joining that, but you haven't joined the Novus Ordo Luciferi, there is a link in the description below to the Patreon. And if you join at the Torchbearers tier or above, and that's just $5 per month, that tier or above, then it'll unlock the most recent post, which has a link to the meeting that we're going to have in about half an hour from now. But back to the topic at hand. Oh, I don't have the description in there. But if we go back to the other one, let's see here. I'll get the link for you. 1 second, just in case anybody who is interested in joining or let's see here. It's kind of dark in here. HTTPS to make it active. There we go. So in the live chat there, and after we're done, once this is over, I'll add it to the description anyway. So if you do want to check it out after the fact, and I'll pin this message too in the live chat. Okay. So back to the topic at hand. The topic that I initially picked for this was the Gnostic idea that we are in a dream that has arisen from substrate mind, from some higher dimensional mind, you could say, and that we are stuck in it like a non lucid nightmare that we're caught up in. It's very similar to the prison planet idea, but this is a variant of that where we are stuck in a dream, similar to simulation theory or the Matrix, although in the Matrix it's a technological simulation, whereas in this variant it is a mental construct that we are trapped in, you could say. Now, we are trapped in it in a sense that we are caught up in the narrative of the dream. Now, if you have any knowledge about lucid dreaming, you'll know that typically in a non lucid dream, you are being presented with these experiences and you will generally react in a habitual way. So essentially, your various predilections and the habits that you've built up will determine how you react to the stimulus, to the narrative of the dream. And it's very reactionary, you could say. So you are caught up in the narrative of the dream. You think that it's real and rather than symbolic, and you are just getting through it as if it were a literal non-symbolic experience, I suppose you could say. And once you realize that you're dreaming, if you can stay in the dream, and there are tricks to do that, including spinning on the spot as fast as you can. That's the method that I typically use. But if you can stay in the dream and be aware that you are in a dream, then you can oh, here, sorry, then suddenly things that were things that you previously thought were completely impossible, even just moments before, suddenly become easy to do, even sometimes, such as flying, changing the narrative, even just changing the narrative or stepping outside the role that you found yourself in within the dream becomes a simple matter. So, oh, cool. Sebastian says it was, you're going to join when you get off the road. I guess you're driving. Cool. Yeah, maybe you'll have a chance to jump in to the private members hangout after this. Oh, Azaquel, good evening. Welcome to the live stream. I'm glad you made it to the new link. So similarly, when you become lucid in a dream, the narrative of that dream, you can continue to play along, but you're doing so with the knowledge that it is a dream. Or you can choose to completely change the narrative, or even somewhere in between. You can nudge the narrative a little bit here and there, or what have you. Or you can do things that you didn't think were possible just moments before when you weren't lucid yet. Similarly, in the waking experience, if you can recognize the symbolic and um, nature of the waking experience and how it is internally generated, and even the idea of these narratives that we are being presented with that usually are being controlled by other people that are very well skilled at controlling and pushing out the narrative that they want. If you can understand these things, you can free yourself from being caught up in these narratives, and you gain a much greater degree of control over your own life and the experience that you're going to have. You can step outside the role that you find yourself in. There are things that become possible to you that you may not have even considered as possible before that. So, for example, you find yourself in a role that you have probably just fell into in some way or another through the circumstances of your life. And that role comes with certain expectations by other people mainly. And you will often have this fear that is tied to the idea of stepping outside of that role, doing something that violates the expectations of those people who um, often are the ones that have put you into that role or have placed you in that role. Now, if you start doing things in a conscious manner that doesn't agree with the role that you've found yourself in, if you find yourself just saying no and not even bothering to explain why. There's this thing that I saw recently. I think it was the Olsen twins, actually. Their father used to tell them, no is a complete sentence. And that essentially means that you don't have to explain yourself. If there's something you don't want to do, you can just say no. And there's no obligation for you to explain why. You can just say no. And that sort of thing. And people, if people expect you to behave in a certain way and you choose to behave in a different way from what they expect, people will start noticing. And often, when you come into your own power like that, people will start asking you, "What's wrong with you? There's something's wrong with you, you know? You're not acting the way that I expected you to act," you know? And that's a sign that you are taking back your power, that you are taking back control of the narrative for yourself and deciding what role you are going to play in your own story. And sometimes people will start to roll with it. And people who care about you will be more likely to roll with it. People who are using you for what they can get out of you will get frustrated and angry and will start arguing with you and feeling frustrated and that sort of thing. And so that's a clue. If people are not accepting you taking back your power, you controlling the narrative, you deciding what role you're going to play and changing it at will. The people that are frustrated and upset about that, those are the people that you probably don't need in your life, and they will take themselves out because they can't get what they want out of you anymore. But the people that really care and the people that actually want to see you succeed and want to see you take back your own power, to step into your own power, those people will stick with you and they'll roll with it. They'll be like, wow, this new you it's really refreshing and I'm really proud of you. You know, you'll get people saying that. those are the keepers. Those are the people that you want in your life. And I was going to try and tie this into the whole idea of Gnosticism and the demiurge, but unfortunately, because of the technical difficulties and how I wasn't able to start on time, I don't have as much time to do that because we do still have that meeting after for the members of the Novus Ordo Luciferi. And I did actually update the description. So that link is in the description of the video as the as well as a pinned comment in the live chat. So if you are interested in joining that, that'll be in about 15 minutes. So I do have a little bit of time that we can talk about that, about the Gnostic and the demiurge tie-in. So what is the demiurge? In the philosophy of Gnosticism, and not just Gnostic Christianity, there's also Gnostic Luciferianism. And I consider myself to be a Gnostic Luciferian. But to be honest, there isn't really, it's a fine line between Gnostic Luciferianism and Gnostic Christianity. Gnostic Christianity is a little bit more focused on a specific set of texts, whereas I feel that Gnostic Luciferianism is a lot more open to all sorts of philosophies and mythologies from around the world throughout time, rather than being, kind of narrowly focused in on certain Abrahamic scriptures. So Gnostic Luciferianism is almost like a larger bandwidth of philosophies. But anyways, within Gnosticism, there's this idea of the demiurge. And typically this demiurge will be the creator of the physical realm. Now, in the way that I interpret it, it's not that. It is also not the entity that's dreaming the physical world or the physical universe, which, if you look at the stories of H.P. Lovecraft, he has this character called Azathoth, which is dreaming the physical universe. And if it wakes up, then the universe just ends in a flash. But the demiurge in my variant of Gnostic Luciferianism is actually a character within the grand dream, you could call it, the shared dream that we all are participating in and are all co-creators of, where we have our own individual dreams, our own personal dreams, and then we also have the grand dream that we are participating in together. And the demiurge is a character, a dream character within the grand dream, not the originator of the dream. If you're a character within the dream, then that means you're a product of the dream and therefore cannot be the originator of that dream. Now, there's a bit of nuance there because every dream character is a symbolic representation of an aspect of that great mind, you could call it, that is the substrate mind that from which the grand dream arises. And so it is an aspect, but it's just as much of an aspect of that grand mind as any of us are. But it wants us to think it's caught up in the dream as well. The demiurge, it's caught up in the dream and it thinks it's a dreamer. And it wants to set up power structures and systems that reinforce that idea. And so you have these characters that are demiurgic in nature throughout various different mythologies, including the El Elyon, or the god of Genesis, for example, in and that would be something that's commonly spoken about in Christian Gnosticism. And so this character believes itself to be the creator, but really it's just another character within the grand dream. And I wanted to draw an analogy to within our own personal dreams. So you have the grand dream that we're all participating in, which we are participating in right now, presumably. Do a state test to make sure. But when we go to sleep and we have our own personal dreams, if you become lucid within the dream, and this happens with uh, beginning lucid dreamers as well as even seasoned lucid dreamers will fall into this trap as well, where the point of view dream character, so the character through which the dream is being experienced, you could say, the first person perspective character that you're experiencing the dream through, that is just one character out of many. And all of those dream characters, even the ones that you're not experiencing the dream through, all of them are symbolic representations of aspects of your mind that is in which the dream is arising. Not just the dream character that you are experiencing the dream through. Yet, you'll often find when people become lucid, when they start having lucid dreams, especially this happens, they will start talking to the other dream characters and saying, "Did you know that you're not real? Did you know that you're in my dream?" And that's demiurge behavior. You have become the demiurge in your own dream, where you are caught up. You're still caught up in it. Even though you know it's a dream, you're still caught up in the narrative of it. And you believe yourself to be the creator. You believe that dream character is the dreamer, you think. But it's not. The dreamer is the mind that the dream is arising within. And that point of view dream character, if you understand that, you'll understand, okay, so this dream character that I am experiencing the dream through is just the part of my psyche that I identify with. And the rest of it are, to some extent, not fully integrated. Now, you can actually, if you are aware of this, you can actually change which dream character is the point of view dream character within a lucid dream. If you're aware of this, try it next time. If you're a lucid dreamer, next time you have a lucid dream, try changing your perspective to a different dream character. You can do it. I've done it before, and I've actually experienced the dream through more than one dream character simultaneously. Now that's trippy. Especially if you're facing each other, then you end up with this panoramic experience. It's unlike anything that that you've ever experienced while awake, probably. Sebastian is enjoying this here. I'm glad you're getting a lot out of it. Ruth, welcome. And Anonymous Boss, thank you all for participating in the chat here tonight. So actually, if you wanted to learn more about this theory, there are documents that are available to members of the Novus Ordo Luciferi. There are video courses, recorded video courses. There's one in particular that's a lucid dreaming course that is 6 hours worth of recorded video. And it was initially taught to a live audience of members and it was recorded, and then it became part of the archive. And now that recorded video course, it was 4 weekly lessons, each of them roughly about an hour and a half or 90 minutes. And you can actually go in and watch those and learn much more in depth of what I've been discussing in this video. It goes into an incredible level of depth and it gets quite advanced. And I teach you some terminology that allows you to process that information a little better. So I talk about the waking experience as the solar dream and the asleep dreaming experience as the lunar dream, and how you can achieve lucidity within the different types of dreams that you can have, the different types of experiences. And I even get into um, achieving a level of awareness of the very subtle level of consciousness that exists when the simulation is turned off, such as during deep dreamless sleep. Now, this is something that you might have heard about from Tibetan Buddhism. What some of the more very advanced dream yoga practices, they talk about that. I get into that in that course. Now, you get all of that. You get that entire course. You get a full month of access, unlimited access to that course and all the documents for that $5 per month on the Patreon. Not only that, but there are other courses that you also get unlimited access to if you are a member of the NOL. And I think at this point we have about 50 hours of recorded video lessons that are all categorized that you get full access to as a member at just $5 a month. And this is, to me, I feel that it's incredible value that you're getting. And we're actually developing, actually TC, who's in the chat here tonight, welcome TC, is helping create a platform that we can more easily navigate these courses, a web platform where you can go in and there'll actually be quizzes and progress bars and that sort of thing. And TC has been massively helping me out with developing that website platform out, where all of these courses will be laid out in a very easily navigatable format. And as I said, with progress bars, quizzes, all that good stuff in a very professional format. We've been working on it in a sandbox environment, and it's just incredible. I'm so excited to launch this, but for now, you still get access to that to those courses. It's just not in that format yet, but we're working on it, and we're going to launch it soon, or as soon as we manage to get it at least to a minimum viable product, and then we'll improve it from that point forward. But we'll get it to the point where we can launch it, and then we'll make incremental improvements over time on that. And like I said, all of that for just $5 a month. I don't know anybody else who's doing anything close to that. So you can join tonight and hop on to the casual chat that's going to be starting in just a few minutes. So I wanted to thank everybody here for participating in the chat, for listening to me talk on about these the simulation theory, the Gnostic dreaming, and lucid dreaming. I love talking about this. If you are watching this video as an archive after the fact, thank you. And if you enjoyed it, I encourage you to hit the like button. If you want to be notified of when I am going to be going live, you can subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Another thing you can do is if you go to that Patreon link and you follow that Patreon page for free, you will get emails notifying you of when I'm going to go live publicly like this. And so you can get that notification in your email as well. So that's probably the best way to get notified of upcoming live streams is by becoming a follower of the Patreon. Even a free follower will get these email notifications of these public live streams. So on that note, everyone, um, we'll see you in a few minutes for the members of the NOL. And until next time, stay lucid.